What's up guys, it's Ryan and you're watching Ryan Vision. If you haven't already, make sure you like the video and subscribe for more. What I wanted to do today is I've already got a really in-depth review of this gun, but it's over like 20 minutes. I want to say it's close to half an hour long, and I've been getting a lot of comments on it, so I went back through and watched it, and there were a couple things I didn't like about that video. One of them was I had some really important safety points later in the video that I'm afraid not everybody got to. The other is because I was in a strange position working around a camera tripod, I really didn't like the way I handled the gun, showing you how to tear it down. So I just want to make a quick summarized version showing you a couple safety points on the Glock 22, which are also good for other Glock and even other semi-automatic handguns. So first thing I wanted to show you is just how to make a weapon safe. Basically right here by my thumb you have the magazine release. Right now I can tell you this weapon has a loaded magazine in it. It does not have a round in the chamber and it is not cocked, but that's only because this is my weapon. I know how I store it. So if this is not your weapon, you came across it and you want to make it safe, first thing you want to do is use the thumb lever here to release the magazine. Quick push will drop that out. Sure enough, it's a loaded magazine. We'll set that out of the way. Now still, you wouldn't know for sure unless you were experienced. By looking at this trigger, you can tell that the weapon's decocked. I can tell by the trigger position and also by the position of the small trigger within the trigger. Now a lot of people will tell you, oh, Glocks have safeties, they have 3 different safeties. Well, they're absolutely 100% correct, but none of those safeties will prevent this weapon, I'm talking about a Glock specifically, from firing if there is a round in the chamber, the weapon is cocked, and your finger or something else goes in here and pulls the trigger. There is no on or off switch on a Glock to prevent the round from firing if all those things happen. Okay, so yeah, there's safeties, like a drop safety, things like that, but you need to be aware there's no off switch protecting you from pulling on this trigger when there's a round in the chamber, the weapon is cocked. It will fire the round, so be aware of that. Okay, so now the magazine's out, and the reason we do the magazine first is if I pull the slide back to check if there's something in the chamber. Let me kind of change my position here. If I pull the slide back and I look in there and see how there's nothing in the chamber, okay, good, we're clear. But if I do that when there's a loaded magazine in the gun, when I first pull it back, it's going to look clear, but when I let the slide go forward again, because it's spring loaded, it's going to pull the round from the magazine into the chamber. So if you check it the first time and it's empty, but there's a loaded magazine in, when that slide goes forward, guess what? Now the gun is cocked and now there's a live round in the chamber. So be very aware of that. Now, we'll check this again just to be on the safe side. Chamber is clear, no magazine in the gun. Now you can see by looking at that trigger, it is cocked. You can see the trigger position has changed. It's more forward now, ready for my finger to pull it. And also the trigger in the trigger, which is one of the safety features, is sticking out more. You can see it. Now since we know there's no round in the chamber, we know there's no magazine in the gun, I'll go ahead and pull on this. And now the weapon is decocked, and you can see how the trigger position changed and how the trigger in the trigger looks a bit different now. Okay, the other thing I want to show you is, again, it's a simple weapon. There's your magazine release. This is your slide lock and slide release. And what I mean by slide lock and slide release is if you slide the slide back while you push up on this slide lock, you can see that it locks it back. And the slide release is if you've got it locked back like that, you push down on it, and it's going to go forward. Once again, now we're cocked. We know there's no round in the chamber, nothing in the magazine. So we'll go ahead and pull back, and now it's decocked. The other thing you have is right here is a tear down, and it's on both sides there. And this is what I didn't like about the other video. I was doing real weird stuff, fingers toward the gun, and that's how I want to do it even right now because the way I am with the camera, you guys would have to see me to understand. But the proper way to do it is slide your hand up the rear of the gun until your thumb hits this stop right here, and then bring your fingers around against the sights here on the rear. And what you want to do is just ever so slightly pull back. You can hear that and you can see it. You don't want to go back so far that you cock it, but just a little bit. And what this enables you to do is, since you can do that one-handed, now you can take your other hand without getting, in front of the barrel, even though we know it's safe. You can take your other hand and pull down on both of these teardowns, and then you can just very easily slide forward, and now the slide will come forward all the way off the lower part of the gun. This is very lightweight. It's made of polymer. It's easy to clean. It's easy to lubricate. It doesn't require a lot of lubrication. There's not much to the upper portion, the slide here. All you've got is a spring here, and this spring is what causes basically, when you pull it back, for one, it causes it to want to go forward when you do the slide release, but also, works with the recoil to keep cycling rounds through. This pulls out very easily, just like that. There's a cone shaped in on one side. That's always the one that goes toward the front. There's a flat shape on the back. That always goes toward the back. The barrel very easily just falls out on its own, and it only goes in one way because this flat side goes on the top. So you can just very easily put that back in, and then just make sure it's situated in there. This is what's catching right here. You can see that. Okay, and then we'll take the cone in toward the front, and that enables you to push on the spring a little bit to compress it just enough that it goes down into the rounded channel. Hopefully I can get this to focus, the rounded channel, so that there's a little bit of gap. You don't want to be on the very top of this here. A lot of beginners will try to stick it on the top there. There's actually a rounded channel. Just if you leave a little bit of a gap there, there's a rounded channel that you can tell is made for this rounded end to fit down in. So that's it. Once you put that back in, you're good to go. Then you can take the lower, and you always come in from the front. Just check where your barrel is, and then come in from the front, and you can take your time. Don't rush. You'll see a lot of guys that have been around these guns a lot, they'll rush this part. But as a beginner, you want to take your time, because you want to line up this set right here and also this set right here, because if you go too fast when you're a beginner, you may get misaligned on this back one. It's probably not going to hurt anything or damage anything, but it's going to feel real nasty when it happens, and then it kind of wants to fight you when you want to pull back forward. So just take your time. There's no rush. And then once it's aligned like this, once it's aligned and you're on both sets there, just pull back. Again, now it's cocked. Anytime we go back all the way, it's cocked again. So I'll go ahead and check it, make sure it's clear. There's nothing in the chamber. I'll check it again just to be safe. It's clear. There's nothing in the magazine well there. We got no loaded magazine in it. It's cocked. I'll pull the trigger and decock it. Okay, another very major thing, and again, now we're in 8 minutes. I wish I would have done this sooner, because this is the most important part. Semi-automatic handguns. Okay, let's say you're just shooting this. You had a fully loaded magazine. You fired all the rounds out. If your magazine and your weapon's working correctly, this is what it's going to look like at the end. So you eject the magazine. Okay, so magazine's out and the weapon's locked back like this. You grab another loaded magazine because you want to shoot some more. Be very aware that when you go in with a new magazine and you feed it in hard enough, just like that, right now there is a live round in the chamber and the weapon is already cocked. It's live, it's hot, it's ready to go. If I put my finger in there right now, which I'm not going to do, and I pull back, this weapon's going to fire right now. Okay, so be very aware. This is the most important thing. In fact, I might even edit the video and put this at the very beginning and leave it in the natural spot too, because this is the most important thing for a beginner. I would hate for somebody to stick their finger in there and have it go off, even if it doesn't hit anyone. So again, step number 1, eject the magazine. Thumb lever right here, eject the loaded magazine, and go nowhere near that trigger. Now what we're going to do, hopefully you can see this on camera. Okay, there's the live round in the chamber. That's out now, but we're not safe yet. We want to check the chamber. We look in there, it's clear. Check it again, it's clear. No magazine, cocked. Now we're decocked. So just want to make this real quick. Make sure you're safe when you're handling these weapons. Don't be afraid of it if you're a beginner. You need to get experienced, and the only way you're going to get experienced is by, doing what I'm doing right now. You need to handle the weapon, get comfortable with the weapon, know what you're doing, know when it's live, know when it's hot, know when there's a round in the chamber, know how to get it out, and know how to handle the weapon correctly. So again, make sure you like the video, make sure you subscribe for more, and I'll see you next time.